Hey everybody, what's up? It's time for another episode of Ask Broman. This is Ask Broman episode 24. Holy shit. It's Thursday, December 21st. I'm so excited for the episode today. It's been in process for a while. Today, we are joined by Chef Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Hey, what's going on, Ben?
So, if you guys don't know, Wayne is not only a very accomplished chef, he's one of our business partners for King's Coast, and one of the things I'm trying to do on this podcast, okay, is bring you folks from all over, every sphere of influence that I can. And so Chef is quite the expert in the food space. So we've got him on here today, and hopefully, we'll get some really good food-based questions on. So before we go any further, we were talking a little bit before we started the podcast about one of my coffee, which is called Get Woke Roast, Professor Broman. It has, what are the tasting notes on that, Wayne? The three tasting notes, just the three tasting notes.
The three tasting notes.
The summary tasting notes.
Bold, fruity, and creamy.
Creamy. So legitimately.
No,
since me and Corey and Kevin are not like veteran food people, I was like, can we use any other word than creamy? Because like I am from the internet, and the second somebody sees like, oh, creamy coffee, huh? Like how much semen's in there?
All of it.
So like we literally spent like 3 days. I was trying to talk them out of it, and they just weren't gonna have it. Yeah. Because
it So we wrote the descriptions. We're trying to think. It's like coffee has body. There's like, it's not just flavors that you're gonna taste. There actually is like textures that you'll notice. Like different coffees have different textures. I love talking about the Get Woke Roast because I feel like it's the most unique offering that we have.
Cool.
Like I feel like for the most part our standard lineup. We just introduced the reserves as well into the mix, but the four that we launched with, I feel like they're pretty, middle of the road. You have a lighter medium roast, and then you have the Italian roast, which is great everyday drinker, like people who just get by drinking like 10 cups of coffee a day.
Yes, for alcoholics, yes, drinking.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's a great roast. And then for people who like, something a little bit more bold and it's, spicy, you get the Bayman's blend, which is like a really nice dark roast, and you get these earthy, smoky notes. And then the Get Woke Roast, how it kind of came about, I feel like it was just basically, you picked that roast to be yours. Just based on your reaction. I remember when we sent you samples and you were just like, what is this?
Yeah, I fucking freaked out. I was like, this is the best coffee I've ever had.
And it's crazy. It's just like, it's got a really, really cool, complex.
It's unique.
Very unique. And
just
a lot of
like
people
me, and it's an acquired taste.
They're like, oh, I don't like dark coffee. I'm like, well,
try
it. And we've had people who were like, I don't drink dark coffee, but this is delicious.
Wasn't one of the original tasting notes, weren't we going to do thick and creamy?
Thick, yeah.
Yeah, we were going to do thick and creamy, and so I made them replace it with a different, because I was like, look, if you do thick and creamy, like I won't be able to ever sell it. Like everyone will just be like, oh, it's the meme ejaculate coffee.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
I get it. Haha, funny joke, bro, man. Yeah, so there was that. So we'll get back to coffee a bit later. I'm sure everyone's gonna have piles of questions, but I want you to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and like your accolades and the shit you've done. Yeah, and let everybody get to know Wayne a little bit. Yeah,
so basically, we're gonna go. We'll go long story, somewhat shortened.
Like it.
That's like the New York special way of when I'm gonna make a long story short. But then it actually winds up being longer than it really is. So basically, I'm a chef, or am now a retired chef. I'm still having issues dealing with it. No, it's a crazy, unique experience, and the one thing that I've learned about being in the food and beverage industry is take opportunities whenever they come your way. It's a career choice that if you're devoted to doing it and you give everything you got to it, it will pay off in the long run. and it's opened up some amazing opportunities and amazing doors for me. I basically, out of high school, I got into it. I was bouncing around between every job on the planet that you can imagine, construction and doing, sales and all these different things. I just never really could find, like the right career path. I wound up graduating from high school, getting accepted into, fine art school. I was going for photography.
Wait, bullshit photography, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Wild.
I got into Pratt School of Visual Arts, Rhode Island School of Design. I was trying to get into Cooper Union.
Damn.
It was actually pretty dedicated to doing that, and always had this, creative side to me that, I was never really, I was trying to find a way to do that for a living. And then I basically graduated high school. I went to my first semester I went to Pratt, and my first day in photography.
I fucking hated it. No, I don't know.
No, there was no professor. Our professor wound up, our photography professor wound up quitting like a week before the semester started. So I kind of look at it as divine intervention, and basically got out of that, and said, I'm not paying, $50,000 a year to learn the stuff I already have been doing in high school. And I was basically kind of running the class for the first 2 days.
I gotcha.
Like, do that? I was just like, this is not right. So I got out quick, but then I bounced around, and I always was playing in bands and, toured around the country with a couple of the bands that I played with. And it was just there was always a creative side to me, and cooking was always in the background. It was always like something that I could do on the side to make money.
Okay.
Good at it. Loved doing it. It was, cooking at home, and my grandmother, my mom, they were from a very early age, always let me be involved in the kitchen and doing stuff with them. And always, they would just kind of let me do my thing. So cooking was always like one of those things in the background until it came down to, I needed a job to survive. And I basically, started working in restaurants. I was actually working, I was 18. I was working at an Outback Steakhouse as a busboy. And it was like a Friday night right before the holidays. I remember coming into work, and the kitchen manager goes, "Hey, you're working in the kitchen tonight." I'm like, "What?"
What?
He's like our salad guy.
High quality. Hey, busboy, you're gonna cook now. Holy shit.
He goes, one of our salad guys quit. I need a guy. I just need a body. You're going to work in the kitchen, because he liked me. I was a hard worker, busting tables or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were always, kind of chit chatting. And he goes, "You're working here today." Yeah, shut up. So I worked my first shift in the kitchen on like a Friday night. I got my ass kicked. I had no idea what the hell was going on. Just kind of, flying by the seat of your pants. And then at the end of the night, he the kitchen manager looks over at me and goes, "So what do you think? You want to work in the kitchen?" I was like, "Hell yeah."
Wow. That's
and that's how it happened. I was 18. It was just like, it was one of those things where you get your ass kicked, but then for some reason you're able to hang in there. And I feel like my entire career was based upon taking challenges and taking leaps with basically, minimal experience, but saying, "You know what, I'm going to be able to, to just get through this because I want to." And that was it for me. It was like, from that point on, I was hooked, and it was restaurants all the way. It's been crazy.
So I'm being heavily instructed right now, before we get too much into your food ventures. I'm being heavily instructed by your friends to ask you about your garage photography studio, and they're making it sound like your garage photography studio means that you're a piece of shit. So is
no. Let's just say, I've talked about this on the Worst Radio Show, and for the sake of keeping it PG,
brevity.
Yeah. I was an amateur photographer who was doing some tastefully done
tasteful nudes.
Now this was back in when I was in high school. It was the early 2000s. Digital cameras weren't really a thing yet.
Yeah.
So I was like the one who had the the capability of taking nudes for girls, and I basically.
I see. And so the ladies wanted you to take the nudes, and the gentlemen too, I'd assume.
Nope, just all ladies.
Okay.
All ladies.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, at least you masterfully helped represent the human form.
Right. Yes, I was doing it. It was tasteful. It was tastefully done.
Oh my God. All right. Any relationships come out of that?
A couple.
So this was like
yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, yes, Jesus Christ.
One of them who went on to do Kevin's bringing it up in the chat. Yeah, one of them ended up going into porn.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler alert. But, yeah.
All right. All right. Well, Wayne, we're certainly going to have you back on for a more in-depth personal growth episode. But let's move on to the food stuff. So you have done something that I'm sure a lot of chefs or aspiring chefs would really love to have on their resume. You've been on Chopped, right?
Yes.
So you want to talk a little bit about that experience, and feel free to not hold back. I don't think that Chef Zakarian listens to my podcast.
You never know. For the love of God, I can never remember the episode that it was.
He's gonna have to IMDb himself real quick.
Yeah, I am real quick. I am on IMDb
because he was on Chopped.
Yeah, not many chefs could say that.
I can't even say I've never been. Never been on Chopped, guys. It's wild. It's crazy.
It's wild. That's the saying on Google. It's season 9, episode 4, but it doesn't sound right to me.
Okay.
But, anyway, so yeah,
season
I was
9,
on Chopped.
episode 4.
Was the episode name? Yeah. See, there's a YouTube link where it's season 9, episode 3.
He's really prepared, guys.
I'm like the worst at stuff like this. So anyway, yeah, I was on Chopped.
Chopped is a U.S. If you're listening and you don't know, Chopped is a cooking competition show on TV in the U.S.
It's on the Food Network. It's basically a mystery basket style of cooking competition where they give you each round. They give you 3 ingredients, and you have 15 minutes to make an appetizer. All the ingredients have to be represented in the dish. And then they judge based off of who did the best representation of that each round. So if there's 3 rounds, there's an app, an entree, and a dessert. Yeah. If you survive all the way to the end and you had the best dishes, you win 10 grand. So
sweet.
It was around 2009. I feel like that's kind of when the show started to get pretty big. One of my chef instructors from culinary school was on an episode. And then another chef that I worked for was on an episode. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get on there. Because I feel like you can get on that show. And, it was actually pretty easy to get on once you go through the whole casting process, which took about over a year or so from start to finish before you actually shoot your episode.
Fucking a year?
Yeah. Like they would do.
Christ. That's insane.
The way they do it is they'll do like open casting calls. You show up for a casting call. They basically, interview you in front of camera, and then they film about 2 or 3 seasons at a time.
Okay.
So they wait till their next cycle, and then they film a bunch.
Film
of
a shit ton. Okay, yeah.
Right, and then it's pumped out. But it's really cool. It was going through that whole process of trying to get on TV and and waiting and hearing, and then finally getting on the episode. It was a really cool experience. Definitely, the show is authentic. It's where you. I gotta stop reading chat.
Yeah, don't read chat. Ignore chat.
Yeah, it's the worst. It is what you see on the show. You have no idea what you're getting as far as ingredients go. They present you with a basket, and it's literally you open the basket up. They're like, these are your 3 or 4 ingredients, and time starts now. And it's boom, you're on the clock. You have no idea. You're flying by the seat of your pants. I remember the app round. Our gift was it was sea urchin, Romanesco, which is like a broccoli / cauliflower hybrid.
Gross.
Yeah.
Puke.
Unsweetened cranberry juice and Madeline cookie, which was like, I'm like looking at these ingredients. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to make with this? So I just started grabbing stuff from the pantry there. running through, grabbing a bunch of ingredients, brought them back to my table, and then decided to, just kind of make like a stuffed sea urchin. I chopped up the cookies and made almost like a little cornbread stuffing. And then I'm thinking like cranberry sauce. I made like a little, a sauce to go with it. And then stuffed it into the sea urchin. But the funny part is, if you watch the episode, there's actually a lot of dialogue that goes on while you're actually in the competition and you're on the clock. Like Ted Allen comes walking over to you and he's like, "Hey, so chef, how's it going? What are you working on?" And I'm like, "Dude, leave me the F alone. I got 12 minutes to get this dish out." But he actually he's like, "Oh, I see you got your shells over here. Are you making some kind of stuffing to go into them?" And I just looked at him and I'm like, "That's exactly what I'm doing, Ted." I had no idea what I was making at the time. Like, I just was putting ingredients together. I had no idea what the final dish was going to look like. And I was just like, "Yep, that's exactly what's going on." So I actually kind of got a little boost from Ted Allen.
Wow, cheater.
Which is, totally cheated. So wound up getting through the app round and then going on to the entree round and getting chopped in the entree round because I made a dish that they quote unquote said I played it safe. Once again, the whole show is a blur. You literally have no time to think. Ingredients that you want may or may not be in the refrigerator that they have or the pantry there. Each round they take certain stuff out, kind of like screw with you.
Oh,
so like say you saw bacon.
So they're like let's move the flour to the other side. Like, oh my god,
like, we're gonna take the bacon out of the refrigerator because they saw it last round and they so now they're thinking, oh, I could go in and I'm gonna use bacon, and then you open the refrigerator and it's not there. So they kind of screw with you a little bit. Oh,
that's some bullshit. But it actually makes me mad. Like,
it's fucking challenging.
I want people to compete to their maximum level. This fucking garbage.
I know. It's literally you have to kind of you have to really be on your game and be really really good about thinking on the fly. Now the thing about the show Chopped versus me and working in a restaurant, if anybody's ever worked in a restaurant, your prep is your biggest weapon that you have. I can make a handful of dishes in a couple seconds based on the ingredients that I have prepared in front of me. Every day we come in, we chop fresh herbs. It's already cut, ready to go. You'll have garlic peeled, chopped, ready to go. Shallots, butters. It's all there right in front of you. So if you want to make a dish, it's called mise en place. It basically means everything in its place. That's what we live by. We have our prep and it's all there, and we can basically make any dish we want. With minimal effort and minimal time required of getting that dish to the pass or to the window. When you're on Chopped, if you want to use onions, you have to peel them. If you want to use garlic, you have to peel and chop it. It's like everything is in its raw state. So not only are you dealing with time restrictions, but you're actually dealing with the ingredients not being prepared for you. So if you want to use something, you have to take the time to actually do it. So that makes it another challenge on top of it that really, the show it's pretty hard to go through and actually put an
actual dish together.
Yeah. And you have to cook 4 of them.
Yeah, that sounds fucking awful.
You have to present 4 dishes. It's, one that they use for the photo and then 3 for the judges.
Fucking sucks ass. So everyone wants to know, did you get chopped?
I did get chopped, yes.
Why?
I got chopped.
Why?
In the
Is it because you're a piece of shit? Are we going to fire you now? I didn't know this. I had no knowledge. So you got chopped.
I got chopped. And this is how it went down. It was basically, the entree round. We pull out, it was chicken thighs with the bone in, ham hocks, pearl red onions, and canned mandarin oranges. So now you have to use all 4 ingredients in a dish. My first initial thoughts were to basically pan roast the chicken thighs, make like a little potato hash with the ham hocks and then make like a sauce with the oranges. And for whatever reason, I could not find potatoes when I ran to the pantry. So the next best thing I could find was pasta.
Okay.
So I had to kind of rethink my whole dish on the fly. And now what I did is I took the ham hocks and threw them in water, started cooking the pasta with that to infuse a little flavor, which I got credit for doing. by the judges. They were all like, "Oh, look what he's doing. That's so smart." I pan roasted the chicken thighs, and I made like a little, I called it like a carbonara almost, but basically made like a ham hock pasta with a pan roasted chicken thigh over the top, and that was it. 20 minutes on the clock. I put 4 dishes up. I was pretty happy with it. I wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but I felt like I did something different. Because I looked over to my right, and the one chick had the potatoes, and she did basically the exact same dish what I was thinking in my head. And
nice.
And then the other one did a very similar, kind of, make a chicken with the hash, and it almost would have been like we had 3 of the same dishes up. The one thing that I thought is the 2 of them both served undercooked chicken, which
so clearly they should win.
Right. To me, on every cooking show I've ever seen, if you serve undercooked chicken, you go home. That's the way it usually works.
Trying to poison and kill judges is usually a bad idea. Yeah,
that wasn't the case apparently. And I actually had compliments on how perfectly cooked chicken was. But then they thought that the pasta dish was just playing it a little too safe. Like, whatever the hell that means. It's really fucked up
that you played it safe by cooking the meat, dude.
Right. I was like, okay, whatever. So I wound up getting a job.
That blows, dude. I'm sorry you got chopped.
It's but it was a crazy experience. It was something, I could say I was on TV. Wow, it's pretty crazy. Yep. Yeah. So
cool. That's
that.
So there's your accolades. Do you wanna mention? I don't know if you have any like restaurants of note you'd like to talk about. Like, I worked here, or I worked here, or I worked with this chef. Because I'm not super foodie. Like, that's one of the reasons why we're business partners, because you understand the food space better. Right. But yeah, like, go ahead and shout out any of that stuff, like your CV or whatever.
So I don't really have a lot of like, I worked with him or I staged there or whatever. In culinary school, I did a couple stages at Le Bernardin and Danielle in the city, which are like 2 of the top restaurants there. I didn't really work with too many crazy chefs. For me, it was always about cooking on Long Island. It's where I'm from. It's, if you've ever been or know the geography of New York, Long Island is it's a pretty big area. Located about, I'm about an hour and a half away from New York City. So commuting to the city for me was never really something I wanted to do. A lot of people do the daily commute, but with the restaurant industry, it's already a grueling business. I couldn't imagine doing that on a daily basis. So for me, it was trying to find restaurants on Long Island that were doing stuff that New York City restaurants were doing. And I got to work. So
you actively sought out challenge.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to work close to home, but I also wanted to work at some of the better restaurants on Long Island.
Yeah.
So I basically just kind of went around and started applying everywhere. And, I got a couple gigs, and I've eventually just landed this one where I was working at this restaurant called Teller's, which is it's a steakhouse on Long Island. It's one of the top rated restaurants on Long Island. And I got in with this restaurant group. And that's pretty much where I spent most of my time in the industry. I spent about 8 years working with them because they did everything the right way for the most part. I learned a lot working from them about how to handle people, manage people, how to run a restaurant, also how to not run a restaurant. There's obviously you're going to learn stuff, the good and the bad, working for different places. But they put me in an opportunity where I was able to advance from a line cook to a sous chef within about 3 months. And then from that point on, I got a job offer. My sister moved upstate New York to Syracuse, New York. This was back in around 2010. And I got a job offer up there to take over a restaurant that was looking to basically rebrand and get themselves running right. They were looking for a young aspiring chef, and that was me.
Yeah, sounds
so
like
I
it.
wound up taking this job upstate, which was awesome. I wound up moving up to Syracuse, New York for about 2 years, worked up there at this restaurant, did a lot of really cool, fun stuff. It was farm to table. We were basically, changing the menu every day, and it was...
Oh, wow, holy shit.
Yeah, it
That's
was
some
just
kick-ass stuff, man.
like we had a set menu, but then every day we would run different specials, and it was really cool opportunity for me to work with local farmers and local ingredients and stuff like that. And it was just an awesome experience. I don't regret it for a second. And while I was up there, I wound up basically reconnecting with who is now my fiance. We had met before I moved up there, and we actually kind of connected while I was up there. And now I'm back on Long Island a couple years later. We basically started dating, moved in together, and then we moved back to Long Island, which I then got back with the restaurant group I was originally with. And that was about 3 years ago, and then that leads us up to around this summer when, the gears in my head were turning, and I was looking for something different. The thoughts always come up of like, oh, do you want to open your own restaurant, or what do you want to do, or I wanted to own my own business. I didn't know if it was a restaurant. I didn't exactly know what I was looking for, but I knew I needed something. Yeah, I just needed something different,
Yeah, I got you. I feel you. I understand.
It's a grind. The restaurant business, I love it, but you have to be in there. It's long hours. It takes a lot out of you. So that's when the whole kind of King's Coast thing kind of started to come around.
Yeah.
So over the summer.
Your journey.
Yeah, that's my journey, man. It's crazy.
So
it's yeah.
Yeah, so thanks. So I wanted to get all of that on record because I feel like it might be super
useful.
Yeah. Well, we, you want to just document everything, right? Like, wouldn't you never know in 10 years what the fuck could be going on. It'd be awesome to have that. So I have a couple of questions that I've gotten from people who are interested in talking to you, that may or may not be here, but I think there's general good questions. Since the whole point of what we're doing is to like help everyone live a better life and advance their career or whatever the fuck it is they want to do. So if you have any advice for somebody who's starting out as a chef or in the food space, like what are like some top shit that you wish someone had told you when you got started that no one did?
Yeah. This is something that I learned early on. I had somebody actually kind of tell it to me once, this chef Mike Wilson that I worked with. And he basically said, be the person that you want to work for. And that has been my motto from day one. When I heard this message, I was just like, it rung home with me, and it struck a chord. Be the person
really
you want
good
to work
advice.
for.
Yeah. Wow.
How you handle yourself on a daily basis, how you go about yourself, how you present yourself. Be the person that you want to work for. Never ask somebody to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. It's just like the little things that really, add up along the way, and got me to a point where I was able to move up the ladder and move up the line of going from a line cook to a sous chef to an executive chef running, a multi-million-dollar restaurant. And that was always in the back of my head, was be the guy you want to work for. The saying is you get more, you get more bees with honey than vinegar.
Yeah.
It's there's a certain way, the restaurant, it's cutthroat. It's a tough environment. You have to have a thick shell to kind of get through the daily grind of it. But at the end of the day, you don't need to be an abusive prick. And, there's a lot of people who go about doing things the wrong way and try to put people down and make them feel like less of a person because they can't keep up or they can't handle it.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest thing is, when I'm looking for a potential employee, I look for a couple different things. I don't really look at the resume. The resume, to me, if I see that you've worked in a place for 6 months or more, that means you're kind of committed to a place. You're willing to, stay there for a little while. I hate when you see resumes where people bounce around every 3 months or 6 months. That's like kind of my cutoff. Like if I see the hopscotch on the resume,
yeah,
I'm gonna kind of like ask some questions and try and figure out, well, why didn't you stay there for more than 3 months? Or there's usually a bigger picture to that. To me, it's loyalty, it's commitment, and it's people who just generally ask questions, want to work, and just kind of do the right thing. I'm more inclined to take a person who has little to no experience, who just says, to me that like, this is what I want to do. I'll come in, I'll do all the right things. I'll ask, all the questions. I'll run through walls for you. I'll clean out grease traps. I don't care. I just want to learn. That to me is going to get you hired quicker than, an impressive resume where I worked 3 months at Les Spinas and I worked, 3 weeks at Le Bernardin, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. You work for all these people, but why didn't you stay? That to me is always a big thing. Yeah.
So the big things for you would be the person you want to work for.
Yep.
And then be committed to the places where you are cooking.
Yeah.
Or the places that you want to cook. And that's gonna make you stand out in your field.
The other thing I've learned too, there's a great documentary, the Hero Dreams of Sushi. It's on Netflix.
Oh man, Hero Dreams of Sushi is so fucking good.
That is
holy shit. If you're listening to the podcast right now, like legitimately fucking stop and go watch. Go watch Hero Dreams of Sushi.
Now, to me, that's like, it's not just about cooking. It's
so far beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like about life in general. And the biggest thing I took away from that was when he said, you have to commit yourself to your craft. And if this is what you want to do.
Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Yeah. Jiro. I think we both got his name wrong because we're assholes. Yeah, Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Jiro, whatever. Gyro.
Yeah.
You got to commit yourself to your craft. So if you want to be a shoemaker, you got to commit yourself and say, I'm going to be the best damn shoemaker on the planet. And I'm going to learn everything about the craft that I can. And that to me, like, was the biggest thing. When I decided, all right, I'm going to commit to cooking, I wanted to learn everything I could. I asked every question that was under the sun. I would stay after hours to learn. I would work with guys who I saw that were, better line cooks than me. And I would go, all right, well, what does he do differently than I do? What can I learn from him? What can I improve on? And it's just basically dedicating yourself to your craft. So it depends on what you want to do with your life. It doesn't matter if you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a chef, you want to be, a major league gamer, whatever you want to be, a podcaster. You gotta commit yourself, and you gotta dedicate to the craft. You gotta study the craft. You gotta learn what works and what doesn't, and how to make yourself better.
Yeah, his story is incredibly inspiring. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. That's like a big takeaway for you, and it was a big takeaway for me as well. Like when you watch someone who spent 70 years of their life living every day exactly the same for the sole sake of making
perfection, chase of perfection,
the best fucking sushi you could ever watch. It's inspiring. Like you can't just sit there and think like, that like it's such an obvious practical example of like this is what it takes.
Right. The one guy who basically made the tamago, the egg sushi. He would do it. He did it every day for 7 years. And the guy's he's every day he makes it, and the guy's telling him nope, sucks.
No. Yeah, exactly. It's just it's such a
try it again, and then finally when he got it right, he said he basically broke down into tears.
Yeah.
It was just like I finally I got the approval from my master.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a rite of passage.
It's incredible. Cool. Yeah. That's really fucking interesting. So the other so before we get into questions, if you haven't noticed already, if you're listening, when I have guests on, I wanted to change the format up a little bit. It'll be a longer episode, so we get to talk to our guests a little bit more and get to know them, and then still have a full Q&A section. So if you're like, where are the fucking questions? We're getting there. We're getting there. So before we go any further, just because, we're both partners, we're business partners. We both are co-owners for King's Coast, and I'm obviously super invested and I like all the coffee stuff, but I don't nearly know as much as you at all. So some coffee questions that I've been getting asked incessantly, and then we'll get to the Q&A. One, what the fuck is taking so long with K-Cups?
They are in production.
Okay.
My God. All right. So the reason why here's what we were told, and here's what we were given. So when you want to make K-Cups, you literally have to make thousands of them, like upon thousands of them. So initially, right off the bat, we couldn't make them because we had zero
Upfront. It didn't have any
Zero
upfront capital.
Yeah. All the capital that we had, we invested into getting the supplies we needed to launch the company. And real quick, thank you everybody who's supported us. It's been unreal the last 3 months. And the fact that within 3 months, we're in a position where basically we need a full-time employee is out of control. Like the amount of packages we sent out for Christmas, and ever since pretty much launch, it's like every time we go to the post office, they're like, holy cow, what are you guys doing? They're like,
the postmaster really thought that Pete and Wayne were just hustling drugs,
shipping drugs.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, like the amount of packages that have gone out, and this is all from online. It's mind blowing. So we finally got to a position where we said, all right, we're gonna K-Cups are a go. We're gonna make them happen. We found a producer that would make them to the standards that we kind of set and said that we want, sustainable. We want, recyclable. We found, the manufacturer who makes they have the number one patent for recyclable K-Cups in the US. We found basically they do it better than anybody else. We went through our research. We wanted to present you guys with a product that is literally will be the best K-Cup you've ever had. Anything we do, I don't want it to be, oh, well, yeah, it's pretty good. I pride myself in saying that, people ask me, oh, how is the coffee? I'm like, honestly, it's the only thing I drink now. And that was kind of the whole point of it getting, up and running was I want to make the best coffee. I want to have, people enjoy it as much as I do. I drink it every day, and I'm not just saying that. It's become, my life. And so we finally got the right manufacturer to produce the K-Cups. We got a timeline, and looks like we're on the back end of that timeline. Anytime you
surprise and delight everybody. This is the opposite of how we run our business. If you're a new customer, like we'll bend over backwards for you, and these folks are like, they're new. But boy, so so
it's
been a journey.
What happened with those is every time there's something that needs USDA certification or fair trade certified, organic, blah blah blah, it has to go through the certification process.
Mm-hmm.
That can get delayed, so that kind of pushed us back a couple weeks. We were hoping to get it up by Black Friday. Then we were told, oh well, yeah, beginning of December, and then it just kept getting delayed and kept getting pushed back. Most recent update, I was told that we will have them in our hands before 2018.
So that's good.
Look for that to launch almost immediately, starting the new year.
And based off of our logistical understanding and how the hot chocolate went, they'll probably be gone in 24 hours. So
yeah, if you guys hammer us like you did with the hot cocoa, I gotta say, as soon as you see that notification that comes up and says they've launched, buy them. The first initial run we have. I don't know if we want to talk numbers.
No, I mean, I've talked about it before. We have 2,000 total packages.
Yeah, total packages coming to us.
Because that was all we could afford to order for launch was the minimum order, which is 20,000 total cups, right? And then we do 10 in each.
24,000 total cups.
Oh, 24,000, and then we do 12 in
12
each.
packs. Yep.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So
we think they're going to go quick.
And just so you guys know how we have our revenue earmarked for this, almost, if it sells out in 24 hours, literally every penny that we make will go into reordering a larger supply.
Yes.
Until we reach,
I've already talked to our reps.
Yeah, until we reach a stasis point where like we can, take money for reinvestment again out of it. But yeah, K-Cups are the jam for a while.
Yeah, so they should be up around New Year's. So look, first week of January, be ready for them.
Yeah.
And the plan is we're going to track it, almost. I plan as soon as we launch
in front of his computer.
Yeah, I'm going to sit there watching every single order come in and go, okay, when we get to a certain number, we have to reorder right then and.
Yeah.
So
and then just so we can talk about the whole process, and then it's going to take a month for that order to get into us.
They say up to 30 days.
Up to 30 days. Well,
with our experience with them, it's going to be 31 days.
30 days. So it might be a bit of a
there may be
frenzied launch.
there may be a down period, but we're hoping not.
Yeah, we're hoping that you'll be able to continue ordering, and we'll just be able to
Right.
flag you with the next delivery date.
Yeah, and
and
I
all
feel
that
like
good stuff.
we're very transparent with what we do, and if there is a delay, or if we see that we've sold more orders, then we're actually going to put a count on it, so it will sell out. And then we'll basically, as soon as we know that they are coming to us, we'll put them back up again.
Yeah.
You guys will be able to order them.
So we've got that coming next year, and then since someone brought it up in chat, and it's been a point of discussion.
Yeah.
One of the other things we have planned for next year is the Roasters box subscription.
Yeah.
So we want to talk a little bit about that. This was Wayne and Pete. This was like their brainchild.
So what we're looking to launch, and probably be around, I would say March. Look for a springtime release. We actually are buying a much larger roaster so we can handle the roasting better.
Yeah.
Yes. It's basically the way we do our coffee is you guys order, and then we're roasting, packaging and shipping it out. So we want to basically get to a point where we can do bigger volume, get orders out faster. Right now we're at about a 5 to 7 day turnaround, which to me isn't good enough. And that's another reason why I went full time with this, is I want to get this product out to you guys quicker. I'll basically be living in the space and making sure orders are coming in and they're going out within 1 to 2 days of being placed. And we're just looking to ramp up and take this to the next level. And with that in mind, we're looking to start a new type of subscription, and what we're going to call it is the Roasters Collection. And you're going to subscribe. You're going to basically pick the 2 roasts that you want to have come to you every month. So say you want to try the Broman 1 month, and you want the Bayman's blend, and we're going to throw in a 3rd roast, which is basically going to be a mystery box type of thing. So what this is going to be is there'll be a way for us to try new product before we launch it to you guys. We're going to ask for your feedback. There'll be like a little comment card or like a link to go in and basically give us a rating.
Yeah, you got to be part of the process.
You're going to be part of the process of picking our new product. And that's really, we kind of want to let the market tell us, what you guys are looking for and what you guys think about it. We've been very interactive with our Twitter and running the company. Interaction is our biggest thing. As you've noticed, if you guys are posting pictures online, we're responding, we're retweeting, liking, comment. We want to be interactive. We want to know what's going on. We want to be very transparent with what we do. And I think that's the business model for an internet business in this day and age, is you have to kind of be that. People want to know what's going on kind of behind the curtain. So right now we have subscription. You can order a single bag, you could order 3 bags, you can order however you want. But the idea is we're going to send you this really sexy looking package design, where you're going to open it up, and each month it's going to be the 2 coffees that you order and a special edition mystery box.
And it's going to have like tasting notes and region notes and all this stuff that Wayne's going to write up for you.
Yeah, we're working on repackaging, where we're going to, on the labels there's going to be servings, recommendations and stuff like that, and roast dates and all these different things that we're just trying to, we kind of launched this, and we were like, all right, let's see how it goes. And we've learned so much in like the 3 months
short
of doing
period
this.
of time. Yeah.
It's like the learning curve has been through the roof. It's amazing. Like I feel like I'm at the point now where where I was getting into the restaurant industry, and like I'm like so absorbed in this, and I just want to keep getting more and more and more information and knowledge about it. I'm searching out. I have a friend of mine who actually roasts up in Syracuse, so we're going up there for a couple of days, and we're talking about doing a little collaboration or something like that. And it's so fun, and it's really cool because it's coffee. There's so many people doing coffee, but there's enough of the market to go around, and the fact that we've kind of found our little niche and made it happen in such a short period of time is, to me, it's awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah. The cocoa, that thing was,
that was a big surprise for everyone.
Holy
a lot of
cow.
Folks, a lot of folks thought we were just like purposefully under ordered the first time. And
Yeah.
literally, we had the biggest company argument about how much we should order, and then we settled on, I think, 500 for our first
500.
run.
Yeah,
500 units, and then that was supposed to last us until Christmas, and we were going to have leftovers, and that was the plan.
Yeah.
And then, no.
We sold out in 3 days.
Yeah, and then whoops. So, yeah, so we hustled to fix that, and we got plans for next year, so we order the right amount the first time. But, it's just like no way of knowing. It's all about like learning and
It's amazing. Like, it's just like that, something like that. So we had this idea. We're like, all right, I've got a guy who can make cocoa for us. It's an organic Dominican chocolate, comes in a mix. We'll just stick it in our coffee bags and sell it. It'll be great. And then,
then you almost died from cocoa
and then we
inhalation.
Almost died from cocoa ingestion. And it turned out to be like, we're like, this is the worst thing we've ever done. We got to really rethink it. And we rethought the whole process.
The whole packaging, redesigned
the whole
package.
Packaging, redesigned, relaunched
in 6
triple
days.
The volume in less than 6 days. and then you guys killed it again. And
that's, yeah.
So it's great.
And that brings up a point that I tell it. We talk about it in our company chat a lot, but I think this is a point from that whole process. I think that has value for everyone. When you're starting a company or you're starting a business, your agility and your ability to adapt because you are small, is the biggest asset that you have. But if you can constantly counterpunch at whatever the big boys are doing, and your delivery time will be faster always because you don't have to think about millions of customers.
Right.
So being able to sit down and say like, all right, we have to completely redesign the way that this product works and turn that around in a week and then relaunch is something that a big company would never be able to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
so
to me, that's been the fun process of it. It's literally, I've been saying for years, like people are always like, oh, you want to open up your own restaurant, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I would love to own my own business. I would love to work for myself. I would love to do things my own way. But to me, restaurants are such a risk, and there's so much factors involved with opening a restaurant. Say you open a restaurant on Main Street, USA, and you have this prime location, but across the street there's this vacant building, and then this vacant building decides to get leveled, and they put up a parking garage there, which I've seen happen.
Oh, damn.
Now that parking garage casts a shadow over your front facade of your restaurant, and now people don't go there anymore because it's in the shade, or it's like literally things that are so out of
fucked up. Wait, really? Is that like an actual story? Like,
yes.
Like, oh, it's too dingy in there. I don't want to go in anymore.
It
God.
It happened.
That makes me want to puke.
That's what happened to the restaurant that I took over in Syracuse. They were on the prime real estate, and then they wound up putting a parking garage up across the street from it, which then made everybody think now that's on the outside of town.
Wow. Puke.
And we don't go there anymore.
Puke.
This is something completely out of your control. You could have the best menu, the best chef, the best concept, be doing everything excellent, and then something like that happens where it's completely out of your control and it kills your business. And that's, to me, being tied down or rooted down to a single location. That to me is so that's antiquated.
Wild.
It's such like, that's the reason why I wouldn't do it. And that's what I love about this business. I feel like, if you want to survive in this day and age, you have to be fluid. You have to be able to move on the fly, to make changes, to make moves, to see where the market's going and what the market's demanding, and react based on it. We're in a position where we're not reacting, we're being proactive about what we're doing, and that's the biggest thing. That's, if you want to start your own business in this day and age, you have to be proactive, be
able to get out ahead a little bit.
You kind of see it coming. And the cocoa, that I think to me was our biggest thing, is we had this idea in our head. All right, this is how it's going to work. It's going to be great. We're going to sell this amount and we'll be good. And then the market just basically threw us through a loop, and we were like, okay,
the market's your boss.
Yeah. So now we had to be on the fly. We were able to totally redo the entire product and get it back up to you guys with minimal downtime. and that was very impressive to me. And that was fun.
Yeah.
I was down in Florida when we relaunched, and we were sitting there, and we're watching,
dinner.
At dinner, watching the numbers come in, and we're like, these people are going crazy for this stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So I feel like that's good. I feel like we got to know each other a bunch, and and I'd like to start doing some questions if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Unless you have some final thoughts.
No, I would just say, if you guys like what we're doing and have been following us, stick with it. We got a lot of stuff lined up for this year.
We got a lot coming.
Yeah,
all right.
It's gonna be awesome. So.
And all right, well, I'll hit you with this one last question. And chances of the cocoa coming back before the end of winter or whatever in the U.S.
We're working on it. We're still not 100% in love with how we're doing
the design. Yeah.
Yeah. We got the tins, and we're noticing that the United States Postal Service really handles our product with care.
Very rough. People have been getting some packages with exploded cocoa in them. So yeah, there's still some reworking that needs to be done. But yeah, so there's that. All right. Mm-hmm. So let's start grabbing some folks from Discord and talking to folks. The first person in here is actually a chef who really wanted to talk to you. Cool. So I figure we could lead off with him, and then we'll get into talking to whoever else has some questions today. So Chef Koontz is the first guy. He's been on before, previous episode, but I was like, I'm gonna make an exception for him because he was the first person from the food space to kind of reach out and be like, hey, I really want to talk to you guys. So yeah, Chef Koontz, what's up, man? So he's figuring his stuff out.
I'm the worst at this stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, technical issues have become an ever existing part of the show, and I realized that listen, everybody's got to set their shit up, right? Like it's a call-in show. You can't get fucking mad at people who's like stuff malfunctioning, things like that. Hey, Chef Koontz, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing today?
Doing good. I'm doing great. What can Wayne and I do for you?
So Chef Wayne, I've worked in the kitchens for about 16 years. I was a line cook.
Yep.
And you know how it is. You start at the bottom, you got to work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked I never went to culinary school.
Okay.
I actually worked in a learning kitchen, as the chef called it, that ran it. He was a consultant chef that went around and helped set up different restaurants and train the staff.
Yeah.
When I went in, I was a line cook. When I came out, I was a sous chef.
Nice.
But when I go to other restaurants, I find it really difficult to actually, I know this is going to sound bad, but obviously we all want to get paid what we're worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And it's hard, to go in with a resume kind of like mine, because you were talking about the hopscotch thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to go in and be able to kind of not necessarily argue for what I feel like I'm actually worth. Now, I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm $20, blah, 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 nothing like that. I feel like I'm very modest as to, especially the type of cooking and what it is. I feel like I'm very modest to what I pay, but I feel like sometimes I take such a low pay and I'm like, man, I just feel like I'm beating myself up here, and basically my question is like, how do you have the confidence to go into a restaurant and not necessarily even just ask right out for the money, but like just to be able to prove yourself that you are worth what you say on paper? Now I'm going to back up really quick. The hopscotch thing. Since I didn't go to culinary school, I did bounce around a lot at different restaurants, but that was because I used that as my culinary school. I worked in different styles of restaurants and wanted to learn everything I possibly could.
Mm-hmm. Which, to me, honestly, I went to culinary school, but I went to culinary school after I had already been working in restaurants for about 5 or 6 years. I look back on culinary school and kind of realize it wasn't necessary to get to the point where I wanted to be. Hard work and dedication kind of gets you there, the same way as having a degree. There's a lot of people to me that get out of culinary school and they have this overwhelming financial student loan debt, and they feel like, I can't take anything less than this amount of money. And to me, that kind of holds them back. The number one thing I've realized about this industry is there's a lot of undercutting that goes on, and trying to get a job, trying to land a gig that works for you, is the type of place you want to be in. It's going to let you kind of experiment and grow and become a better person or a better chef. It's hard to find. And then you have to factor in the financial, responsibilities of like, listen, I need to make this amount of money to pay my rent. I really can't make any less than this. And I feel like every place just wants to kind of undercut you by like a couple bucks here and there. And then you wind up, sometimes you'll take opportunities, hoping, hey, if I do 3 months here, they're going to recognize, my work ethic and move me up. And I've had
exactly what I've done.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's a cutthroat business, and I said it before, and I feel like that's, to me, is the biggest thing I took away from the industry is it's cutthroat. Okay. So you have to kind of be able to, bounce around. Yes, it's okay. Like I said, I look at resumes and I'll see people who bounce around, but the biggest thing for me is be transparent about it. Be like, this is the reason why I bounced around is because I didn't go to culinary school. So I was just trying to get a feel and learn some new stuff and see different cuisines. And if you're transparent about that, I feel like, if I was interviewing you, for a sous chef position, I would take that and be like, all right, that's actually pretty, I respect that. I understand that.
Yeah, that's usually what my answer is to them whenever I get asked is like, why did you go here? Why did you go there? And it's like, because I wanted to learn, but then I'd hit those points where sometimes I'd get burnt out and I'd get tired of like a kitchen being a revolving door. Yeah. And I would go and do something else. So, you'd see me at like working a cash register and I'm just sitting there like, this is not where I should be. This is not what I should be doing. Like I'd like start talking to people about cooking and they're like, yo, I'm just trying to buy these pants, dude. And it's like all right, so I need to go back to a kitchen then. Like I've obviously hit that point now. Yeah. But then I feel like I go back and it's like I'm starting all over again. Like I know.
Where are you from? Where are you cooking?
Originally, I'm from Indiana. I moved to Illinois 2 years ago. I live in Woodstock. It's about an hour and a half north of Chicago. Okay, so it's kind of a commute, and I'm actually, this is kind of sad, man, and you're going to be a little disappointed in me, but I'm actually working at Panera Bread right now as just a regular line cook. But I'm going tomorrow for an interview at a pizza place called Buddy's. And I can honestly tell you, dude, like that is like one of my favorite things in the world ever in a kitchen to do is make pizzas. I can throw the pie, I can make the dough from scratch, I find the sick satisfaction in making pizzas. And I'm going to this pizza place and I'm like, yo, I want to work here, but I'm not going to take $9.75. If I'm going to take $9.75, I might as well just stay at Panera Bread that's 5 minutes down the road opposed to driving 30 minutes to work. You know what I mean? And it's like, I go to this interview tomorrow, so I'm just trying to figure out like how I can bring it to this guy that like I'm worth $13 an hour. I guarantee you I'm worth that amount of money. And I guarantee you I'm going to give you the hardest work I possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that just present yourself like that, It's basically, I would say, be transparent and be like, look, I'm going to do everything and more that, you need of me to do. And go in with that attitude, It's okay to be a little bit, confident in your skills. A lot of people, I feel like they kind of, when you go to an interview, they let kind of people talk down to them a little bit and like, well,
it's not talking shit if you can back it up. That's what I was going to say.
Exactly. Right. Yes.
Right.
If like, and that's, I mean, if it's something you really want, there's nothing wrong with coming out and saying like, this is what I want and I'm worth it and whatever. And if someone doubts you, prove it. Like, if you're like, a lot of people are afraid to talk big because I think that,
you don't want to sound arrogant or cocky or come across as condescending, but at the same time, like that's always been my biggest thing is just give me the opportunity and I'll show you what I can do.
I'll prove it to you. Yeah.
So if he says prove it tomorrow, should I ask him? All right, let me go in your kitchen.
Let me make you pizza. I'd fucking show up with a fucking pizza. Yeah. I mean, like that's where I'm at. Like I'd make it at home and I'd be like, here's your fucking pizza, bud. Like now hire me.
Yeah.
Like
I've had job interviews where it's been like, hey, so, when can you start? I'm like, I'll start right now. And people are just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, kind of go in with that, go in with that attitude and basically be like, look, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If you want me to start right now, I'll
I'll call my wife and say I'm not coming home.
Yeah, babe, I gotta work tonight. And to me, if I'm gonna hire somebody, I'll always have them come in and work a day, and I'll pay them for that day. But just to kind of see what they, see what you got, and that's usually an opportunity.
Going in on your first date, would you go in with confidence, like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just, as soon as an order comes up, would you start just like, all right, is this how we do it? Start making it? Or would you just kind of sit back and watch and let them tell you? That's where I always get screwed
there's
up
always a fine line. Yeah, don't sit back. Be on the edge of your seat. Be like, look, obviously you want to do it the way they want it done.
Right.
Every chef or every kitchen or every industry has a standard for what they want. There's going to be somebody probably training you or going through the motions of it, but don't be afraid to get in and get your hands in there and say, hey, let me try one, or do one with them, and they'll be like, all right, let me do the next one, and you let me know if I'm doing it wrong or whatever. That's always the biggest thing I'll look for if I have someone come in and work with me in a kitchen, is I want to see them to get involved and not just kind of sit on the sidelines watching. I like to see people who are just kind of actively like absorbing the information and also want to get in and be like, all right, I'll do the next one, and then.
Yeah, because I hate standing there and watching.
That's the worst.
It starts to drive me nuts, and then I'm like, dude, just let me. Especially sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, you watch them do it, and you're like, that's not how you're supposed to do that.
Yeah. You're like,
I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but that's not the correct way of doing that.
Right. And you're gonna run into that everywhere. There's like people who call themselves experts and stuff, and I've worked with that, and I'd be like, all right, well, can I show you how I would do it?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And I'm sometimes afraid to do that, It's like I'm afraid to be like, well, can I just show you how you actually do it? But you could still do it that way, but this is the correct way. Because I watch shows, I read books, everything. Like, I don't know all the traditional methods, but I learn enough that
there's a fine line too between like coming off like an arrogant son of a bitch and actually being like, well, this is actually the best way to do it.
Okay.
I worked with a chef who he would let you kind of make a mistake, and the best way he would teach you is like he would let you do it, and then he would come over to you and go, he goes, let me show you how it should be done. Or if he saw something and like he saw you doing something, he'd just look at you and go, he'd be like, you could do better. And it was just like that little way of like, like together we're going to make this the best. And as long as you have that right state of mind and you're not coming across like, well, hey guy, you're paying me, but I know more than you. That's the line. It's finding, that sweet spot of being able to express your knowledge and what you've learned and go, hey, this might be an easier way of doing this, but without coming across it.
Yeah. I agree with everything that Wayne says.
Yeah.
Everything Wayne says. And then to sort of back end it a little bit, I mean, you need to do like, and I think this applies to everybody who's applying for any job. We're kind of taught to lack self-confidence and to go in like a sheep every time, no matter what your fucking job is. I need this job, Mr. Meh, and like, I'll suck your dick, like, whatever. Okay. And one of the first things and the best things you can do to make yourself stand out as a candidate, in my opinion, for any job interview is having actual confidence, not arrogance, not ego, not bullshit, but honest confidence in your ability to do your work. And unabashed confidence. I feel like it's such a long-term win when you walk in and you know that you're good at what you're doing. And if you have the skill, there's nothing wrong with saying that you have it. I don't know where it evolved in our culture, where it suddenly began to like be shameful to have confidence in your ability to do a task.
Thank you.
So, I mean, well, I encounter it all the time, like doing what I do, like streaming. It's like, oh, well, it's not, there's no professionalism. There aren't any best practice, like as if me doing this now after 5 years is I have acquired no skill, talent, or knowledge about how to do it well. And so random chuckle fuck McAss bitch cunt garbage troll, okay, comes into my chat room and they're like, you should do it like this. You'd make more money cakes. And I as you can tell by my level of insult, I have an incredibly large amount of disdain for that bastard. You know, because there is something to be said of truly acquiring a skill. So everything that Wayne said, but please go in there with confidence and don't be afraid to be confident. Don't come off as like, I'm God's gift to fucking pizza making. Correct. But going in there saying like, I make a hell of a fucking pizza. Let me make you one. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with saying I'm confident in what I do and let me show you what I can do. It's just, you know, if you say it like there's the old saying is it's not what you say, it's how you say it. If you say that, like, let me show you what I can do versus let me show you how I do it, you know. Yeah. You're saying the same thing, but it's how you said it that makes it a completely different.
Exactly.
Okay. So instead of saying it like an asshole, you're
don't come across as a condescending jerk. Yeah, but like, you know, hey, give me, you know, all I'm asking is the opportunity for me to come in and prove myself, instead of saying, hey, if you give me the opportunity, I'm going to show you how good I am. You literally just said the same sentence, but it's just how you said it that is going to come across as, you know, you're there for the right intentions.
Like, you know me, bro, man. We've talked before. I am my own worst enemy, like I mentioned, and, you know, but cooking has always been the one thing in my life, other than being a dad, that I've been the most confident about that I do. I beat the hell out of myself all the time, too, when I'm cooking, though. As soon as I mess up one little thing, I'm on myself, you know, and it's like, I got to stop doing that, take a step back, realize what I did wrong, and then fix it.
Yep. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you're learning from those mistakes and not repeating them on a constant basis. That's the biggest thing too. Is everybody's gonna fuck up. You know, the first time you try something, you never gonna nail it right off the bat. You know, that documentary we were just talking about. The guy makes the egg thing every day. You know.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm gonna look that up and watch that.
Go watch that tonight, and then with that in mind, go into that interview of just like, you know what? It's just like it's the constant pursuit of perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. It's just the pursuit of it. So if you go in with that philosophy of like, it's never gonna be perfect, but I'm gonna try as damn hard as I can to make it perfect. And if I fuck it up, true. I'm gonna learn from the mistake, and I'm gonna move forward.
Absolutely,
God, this is fun. I like.
I knew you'd like it when we got to the questions, Wayne.
I love. As soon as I heard you were on, I was like, "Oh, bro, man, please." Let me
he was very adamant. All right.
I was like, but yeah, I don't want to take up any more time.
Koontz. If we're gonna get some other questions, but thanks, man, and best of luck.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yep. Be good.
Have a good one, dude. All right. Again, if you're listening out there on iTunes or anywhere, and you're like, how are these people fucking getting on the show? Because this is some feedback that I've gotten. We're streaming this live on Twitch, on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Professor Broman. You can tune in anytime, and you know, you can ask a question. So, you know, let's see if we can find some other folks here. Let's grab this guy. This is Giacomo Gaming with an underscore. They unmuted.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, dude? I never learned my ears. What can I do for you, man?
Is it too loud?
No. I just should have turned you down, dude. It's my fault, not your fault. My fault. What can I do for you? What can we do for you today, my guy?
Okay, so I have a couple of questions.
Sure,
of food-related questions and one streaming one for you, bro.
Kick ass. Perfect. Yes. Perfect questioner.
All right. So the two questions that I have that are food related are something that I like to ask pretty much everyone that I meet.
Sure.
Just because.
Gotcha.
So the first one is, if you eat Pop-Tarts or have ever eaten them.
Not where I was expecting this to go. All right.
When you eat them, do you take a little piece off, like break it off and then put it in your mouth, or do you just bite right into it?
I break a piece off because I burned myself too many times biting right into it.
All right. I can dig it.
Yeah, it depends. If it's a cold Pop-Tart, I'll just bite right in. Like if you just open the package up and eat it out of the package. If you toast it, you always got to break it off because it's either still too cold or molten hot lava.
Truth.
And there's nothing
All
worse. Nothing worse than starting your day as a chef with a burnt tongue. Trust me.
Oh, oof. I didn't even think about that. All
Oh,
right.
it's the worst. Like the roof of your mouth, you get that.
Oh
little
yeah, and then
blister.
you can't
Oh,
taste anything, and then it's
Can't
like your
taste
skin's
anything.
falling off and shit.
It's-
Oh, it's horrible.
It's the worst.
All right, I like
It's a
that.
fucking impressive question. This is a
Yeah,
really good one.
I like
All
that.
right. Yeah. What? Next one.
Okay, so my second question. So say you get a hamburger. Does the hamburger taste different whether you eat it right side up or upside down?
Ooh. I'm gonna just jump right in on this.
Yeah,
one.
go ahead, please do.
So, I have a way. Whenever I make a burger for myself, there's certain things I'll do that I think make it better. Now I know it's called topping, so you always put the stuff on the top of the bun, but I like to put, like when I'm constructing my burger, I'll put the lettuce and tomato on the bottom, and then I put the bacon underneath the cheese and melt it that way. And because for me, it holds everything together. So I don't really know if it tastes different upside down or right side up. I don't think it does. That's just,
Okay.
I
That's
mean,
how I
after
do
it's
it.
all mushed up in your mouth, it tastes the same.
yeah. It's
But
all
if you
going to
eat
the
it
same
upside
place.
down, the flavors are going to hit your tongue in a different order. So
Yeah,
you might
Yeah.
get a different
Exactly.
profile until
Yeah.
it's all smooshed.
yeah. I put the pickles on the top though because I got a pickle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I roll.
All
All
right.
right. I like those. I always feel like I should ask someone that I meet for the first time that, because
Yeah.
then like your
You're
opinion
an-
can really differ of somebody based on their answer.
Well, hopefully I passed.
Solid.
Oh yeah,
All right.
definitely.
All
Okay.
right. So what's your streaming question? What can we do for you?
So, I guess for a little bit of context, I started streaming again recently. And since I'm in college, I like to be able to stream when I'm not in class to kind of help show people that it is possible to manage your time in such a way that you're able to do that, and whatnot. And so I recently made affiliate, and I had a huge push of people, get me there. But then now that I have that, it's feeling like it's starting to slow down a lot.
Yep.
How do you keep yourself from getting discouraged when you're not really getting the goals you set for yourself?
Yeah. Well, you've got there's a couple of things that I think are important. One is what you just described is one of the reasons why, or one of the biggest downsides of the affiliate program, is that it provides a really awesome goal for you to reach for when you're starting. But like any goal that you achieve on Twitch or any form of social media, once you hit that number, your engagement drops off. It happens every fucking time. Doesn't matter what you're a big YouTuber and you're pushing to get to your next sub milestone. Growth, stagnation immediately afterwards. It just happens. So the first thing that I'll let you know is that's part of the journey, is that this will continuously happen no matter what form of content you're making. People love pushing towards a goal, and then after you hit the goal, there's like a refractory period where people just can't seem to get excited about anything anymore, and it's normal.
Okay.
So one is get used to it. This is going to keep happening. Two, realize that like your numerical growth, all that stuff, they're great indicators. They're good things to keep track of on like a month-to-month basis. But ultimately, your skill level as a broadcaster and entertainer is what's going to win out. So you just have to be patient, and you have to keep moving forward with making the best things that you can make.
Okay. So kind of just go through and put, all your effort in every single day, every single time you stream.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't have. I did streaming for a little while, and it's definitely one of the harder things to get into if you're starting out. And for me personally, I'll apply this to restaurants. Is there's days where you come in and you gotta be on your game every day, because they say chefs aren't allowed to have a bad day. There's days where you're going to come in to work and you're going to do everything the same way, but for whatever reason you just didn't get it right. things happen that are out of your control. You're not able to react or adapt quick enough, and you have these bad days. But it's all, realizing that just because you had one bad day doesn't mean you should give up and you should stop streaming and throw all your equipment in the garbage like I do.
It's true. It's true.
It's tough, man. It's a tough business to get into, and that's the way you got to look at it. Is it's a business, and obviously growing, and everything in life is peaks and valleys. There's plateaus, and then there's moments where you're going to see growth pop up, and all of a sudden you're oh my god, I can't believe this. It's finally happening, and then all of a sudden it just levels out again, and you're like, all right, you can't get depressed in that state. You got to kind of stick to the plan and stick to the formula. And obviously you got there for a reason, and people are liking what you're doing, so don't change it up. Don't, just because you see a couple days of stagnancy, don't all of a sudden throw everything out and go, oh my god, my menu is shit, I have to redo the whole menu.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it. Is there's moments where obviously you can always bring something new to the table, and you can always try new stuff, and it might be more successful than what you did prior. But don't completely scrap your plans and throw everything out and try and redesign everything. Consistency is always a big thing, in any business model. If you're doing things consistent and it's working, stick with it, but then always try to reintroduce something new. So maybe, I think even for Ben, like doing the Ask Broman podcast, that's something completely new. This was a new idea for you, and I think for the most part it's been amazing. And you're getting this awesome interaction part to your stream that you didn't have before, and you have people calling in, and it's something.
This is like, to piggyback on what Wayne's saying, this is what I say a lot of times, is that you can engage in all of the best practices for your job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The thing that makes you successful is your ability to transcend that execution, right? If you want to be a good chef or you want to be a good broadcaster, you need to do all the right shit, right?
Right.
Show up on time, work really hard, make sure you know how to cook your fucking food, whatever. Okay.
Yep.
All of that shit's important, but the magic, okay, the creativity, that's what helps take you to the next level if you are in a field where creativity matters. And the higher up you get in any profession, the more creativity matters. It doesn't, like, listen, if you think about a job like being an engineer, you're like, not a lot of creativity. Sure, maybe if you're a ground level engineer and you're building shit, whatever. But like, if you transcend that, if you get to the top of the engineering field, you're starting to deal with ideas and concepts that do not exist yet.
Sorry, dogs are going nuts.
You're dealing with ideas and concepts that do not exist yet. So you are playing in a space where creativity matters. And, and that's in a really practical field. Creativity is all that you have if you're creating content. It is literally the bread and butter of what makes you successful. So if you feel like you're hitting a plateau, and you're doing all of the shit right, it's time to get creative and discover or make something new for people to engage with.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. And it's a great analogy because I'm actually in school to be an engineer right now.
Yeah, I'm psychic! All right.
Nailed it.
Because, and part of that being,
if you've got to follow up,
keep me busy.
Mm-hmm.
It does keep me super busy, and that's why I stream, because like I said earlier, I want to be able to share video games with people. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do it in the little bit of time that I have. I set up a schedule, all this, so that I can tell people, hey, look, you can do it. You just have to put your mind into it. You have to, focus.
Yeah.
And for me, gaming has been something that I have as an escape. And so I want to provide that for somebody else too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely, man.
So thank you.
You got it.
Thank you so much for I've been a follower since Destiny came out and watch as much as I can. So thank you for all of, everything you've done for the community, and especially just being there for people.
It is my honor, and it is an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you.
And I did get to meet you at PAX East. It was enlightening. So
enlightening.
thank you again for
You said that like it was a bad thing. What did I do?
It was a fun experience. I don't know if you probably might not remember. Sorry, I hit my microphone. But I was there with my girlfriend, and she had said that she was a huge fan of Amy. And so you and her actually took a picture together, and you sent it to Amy.
I do remember that. Yeah.
It was fun. That really made my PAX experience. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. Good. All right. It wasn't horrible. It was just different and unique and unexpected. I like that. All right, man. Well, you have a fantastic day. Do you want to shout out where you're at so everyone can follow you or check you out?
Yes, of course. So do you mind if I toss it in chat after I'm done?
Toss it in chat afterwards as well. Absolutely.
All right. So you can find me, and I am going to correct you on the pronunciation.
Oh, that's fine, dude. I fucking suck, bro.
No, it's you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Giacomo_gaming.
You want to spell that for folks? Because you need to, for sure.
That's GIACOMO_gaming. That's Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. You can see a lot of pictures of my cat too, because I love my cat.
Fuck yeah, cat pictures. Go give the man a follow. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, video games, engineering, and cat pictures.
Hell yeah.
Talk to you later, man.
Thank you.
Oh, what a cool dude. I liked him. He was great.
Nailed it with the engineering.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, it's becoming like more and more transparent to me that the difference maker, I think that everybody wants it to be execution based because then it's simple. Whether like no matter what business you want to get into, I understand like you want to systematize it, like it's our natural human state to try and just figure it out and say I do X, Y, Z, and then I get this.
Follow the formula.
And there really isn't one for long-term success in any field. There's always going to be the magical factor, and everyone likes to call it luck or whatever. But even luck, like you can engineer that if you pay close attention to your surroundings and all this other stuff. And I'm starting to think, like, I mean, I think luck's it's just bullshit. And the reality is, you need to take the environment that you have and get creative with it, and then like execute against that idea of I will choose to be creative when I hit a roadblock, instead of doing what most people do, which is give up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, like
I always
put that in your mind, folks.
The X factor is common sense.
Yeah.
Like if you see, you know, being able to read and adapt and think on the fly, and that's, to me, that's the X factor.
Yeah.
It's if you can look at the bigger picture and, you know, step back for a second and analyze what you're doing and go, all right, maybe this is why it's not working, right? And be able to change that. That to me is that's having the X factor. A lot of people, you know, they don't want to judge themselves and say, you know, maybe this is why it's not working, right?
Mm-hmm. You have to take a really sober-minded approach to critiquing your own strengths and weaknesses as well.
And you have to be able to. You have to be able to critique yourself. If you can't critique yourself, then you're in for a world of hurt out there.
It makes life tough. All right, let's grab some more folks here. Let's get Buzz Bass. And guys, if you're in chat right now and you want to get in here and ask a question, please click the link-a-do right here and yep. What's up, Buzz Bass?
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you, man?
Pretty good.
Excellent.
Let me silence you real quick.
Sure.
Okay, that's better.
What can we do for you today, my friend?
Yeah, I'm actually in a tough little pickle. I've been streaming since September.
Okay.
For a more permanent schedule right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably made a stupid decision at some point by only streaming Destiny 2.
Okay. No, I wouldn't say it's a stupid decision. You made a bet.
No, it's more a bad decision because it's pretty saturated viewership, of course.
Sure.
And what I've noticed is that people are sometimes coming in the room, watch me for a few minutes, and then they disappear again without saying a word.
Yes.
Actually, what I was wondering is, do you have any advice on how to expand on variety, even though I can only stream 1 day a week?
Sure. I mean, the simple best practice for that is stream what people are used to watching and then play something else. For me, that's an hour and a half of a game that people are used to coming to see me view, whatever. I can't make sentences, but about an hour and a half, 2 hours of what's normal, and then what's new. Even if you're only streaming 1 day a week, that should be relatively effective in helping you understand what's going on.
Okay, and hypothetically, what would your advice be if I would expand my schedule to 2 or 3 days a week?
I mean, first of all, just know that the days that you don't usually stream, you will have a decreased viewership because you are if you are for one reason or another rebuilding on that day. Like, for example, if I stream outside of my schedule, I can expect my viewership to be about 60% of what it's usually going to be.
Okay.
And if it's better than that, or if I have like air quotes normal viewership, then that's fucking phenomenal. So be prepared for it to be different on those days, but I would follow the same strategy. Or the other option in that case is, since it's a day you don't usually stream anyway, stream whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm looking into expanding on my schedule for a few extra days in the week, and hopefully keep that consistent. And I'm still wondering what games I should play sometimes. So that's a bit difficult.
Sure. Any follow-ups, man?
Yeah, actually, you guys are pretty successful businessmen, of course, and
we're doing all right. No, we're doing all right.
Somehow I got your cocoa in Europe, so that should be something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you got it in Europe, yeah.
To me, that's like the most amazing thing is whenever we get orders that come in from overseas, it's just mind blowing. Like putting a label that says like Norway or Finland or Denmark, and we've shipped to Dubai, Australia, New Zealand. I'm like, wow,
wild.
Like,
yeah,
it's nuts. Like, and to me, it's like it's crazy because it's just we're doing it, small scale here, but it's such a we have a global market. Like, to me, that's just. And when I talk to friends and who are in the restaurant business and stuff like that, they just can't grasp why or how it's working like that. They're like, I don't understand. Like, it's the internet.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
It's a global community. It's like there's people. We all have a common interest somehow. Whether it be video gaming or just podcasting or just talking to other humans. It's really cool to just be in that and experience.
Yeah, that's the awesome part about it. Yeah. But what I was especially wondering, since I'm a starting streamer, how would I go best to brand myself, but not to come over too much as someone with a professional setup, but no following?
I mean, when it comes to setup, and this keeps coming back because it's something I said early on. It's all about authenticity, right? Like, if you're a guy that has a shit ton of gear and you have a killer setup already, that's authentic. And when people ask you like, yo, dude, why do you have like two PC setup and all this other shit? And you're like, oh, well, it's fucking, I'm a hobbyist.
Right.
Gaming, I have this shit. There's a story behind it, and I think that's like the key. If you have a story behind why you have whatever you have, it makes sense. But if you just said, I bought it because it makes me look fancy, then you're in trouble because people think you're self-important and up your own ass.
Yeah, doing it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's my advice there.
Cool. Yeah. No, that sounds way better.
And I would say personally, from my experience of I started streaming a couple years ago with Kevin, aka K Magic.
K Magic 101. Yeah.
I was literally streaming from the PlayStation in my living room. And that, to me, it was fun to do. And then you slowly you scale up and you realize, okay, maybe I need to get a capture card, or and then get a webcam and all this other stuff that you can add on. I don't think you need it right off the bat. I feel like there's people who try to they see Corey or Ben's setup and they're like, oh my god, that's what I need to succeed. But You know, like
well, yeah, I don't even have the finances for that. So
right, exactly. And
I'm good on that page.
There's some people like I'm like, what are they running NASA with that setup? Like, you launch space missions. It's pretty cool, but like, you know, obviously, if you don't need it, and if you build yourself as a broadcaster or streamer or wherever you want to be in life, and you build it up based on, you know, being authentic and being transparent and being, you know, this is who I am, this is what I like to do, you're going to go further than just trying to buy your way in.
Yeah.
You know, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Second thing is actually a bit about the interaction with chat.
Sure.
At the moment at game nights, I'm usually on Discord with my friends from the clan, and we have a lot of banter going on. Sometimes I feel like it's not inviting people to hop on chat and just say hi or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like ultimately that's a location where you need to get creative a little bit. My suggestion is, you know, interact with the people who are in your chat as if you were talking to them on voice already. You know, you'll have a set amount of people that won't like that, but if that's how you're intending to stream all the time, it doesn't matter what the one person who doesn't like it thinks. It matters what all the rest of the people who do like it think, because you can't change the way that you want to do things just to get more viewers, no matter what size your channel is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me on, and
awesome.
Also thanks to you, Wayne, for giving some extra advice on the business part.
There you go, man.
It's always fun to hear. So I'm gonna head off, give some other people a chance to ask questions. And, have some more cocoa here.
Sounds good. All right, man. You have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Later.
It's fine. Such a nice guy. I always like talking to people who are getting started.
Yeah. You know,
it's cool because everybody thinks they all have the same question, but they really don't. Like on the face of it, it might sound like the same question as everyone else is asking, but everyone has a different like approach to it and a behind the scenes thought. It's always a good time to like drill down and figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out? No, figure it out, Wayne. This isn't the worst radio show. Elemental Dragons. Oh, Buzzbaz. Yeah, please go follow twitch.tv/Buzzbaz. BUZZBAS. He didn't shout out his shit. What's up, Elemental Dragon? Zzz. It's a plural. What can we do for you, man? With a Z. Sounds like he might have his audio stuff. It's not set up. It happens,
it's complicated.
Man. It is. It's fucking...
I don't know.
I
always have issues with it.
What you have to do is you have to recheck all of your settings.
Every
make
time
sure that the microphone is the right microphone and that the output's the right output.
Yep, already too much.
And then you can restart it if you need to, Elemental Dragons. You know, you can join Wayne for some tasteful nude photography in his garage.
We don't do that anymore. How did you
not get like pinned by the cops constantly as a murderer?
Because high school, man.
Because high school, man. Because high school. Elemental Dragons, I'm going to recommend that you restart Discord, my friend, and then jump back in. We'll get you. I don't even know. I don't know if you can even hear me at this point.
Maybe he's pooping.
He might be pooping. We'll just give him a chance in a minute. Let's get Grimbeardsman. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And everyone else you're sitting with, I can hear.
I think he's got chat open in the background.
He might, dude.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you, dude. 100%.
All right.
I've got a lot of echo as well. If you could like mute the stream and do, that'd be great.
Yep. Oh, what about now?
I can still hear you for sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I had to fix my stuff there.
No worries, man. It's all good.
All right. So my question is actually for you, Broman. I've been a big fan, and my question is for you in regards to your coffee company.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I'm actually starting a beard company.
A
for
beard
beard
company.
care.
Okay.
And my question for you was, when you initially started up your company, what processes did you go through to get everything in order? And how did you start it up?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a huge question, but let me give you the practical breakdown steps. One, found partners that I wanted to work with. Hi, Wayne. Two, find a product that we wanted to sell, right? So
that you believe in.
That
too.
you believe in. Yeah. I mean, we haven't explicitly said that, but if you're going to sell shitty shit, like, then my advice is garbage for you because you're selling shit in the first place. So, make sure you're selling something you believe in. Okay. Partners, find something you believe in, you want to sell. Sounds like your name's Grimbeardsman, so I'm going to assume you're pretty passionate about your beard in the first place.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's great. You're on a good path there. And then 3 is just market the ever living fuck out of it is what you have to do, which for me was not difficult because, like we were talking about earlier, we have like a millions of dollars ad machine based off of the social influence of myself and King Gathalion and everyone else who's working. So there's that. And yeah, that's about it, man. Like, what sort of, could you please mute me, or I'm hearing myself and it's driving me absolutely insane. So
I apologize.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to think straight. Yeah.
Okay.
So what sort of follow-up questions do you have to that?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. What sort of follow-up questions do you have to that?
I think I did that wrong. I apologize. I'm new to Discord, so I apologize.
That's fine. No, don't worry about it, man. I was trying to deal with it, but I was hearing myself with a half a second delay, and I have attention deficit disorder, so that was destroying my brain into tiny pieces. Yeah. So what kind of where are you at right now with your business?
Right now, it's just in the startup phase. In regards to that, I'm figuring out the types of products that are on the market. I've already done research in regards to the actual market, because I want to make everything in regards to actually being natural and and natural organic care because people don't know exactly what they're putting on their face, and that's it's really the scary part. So the way I want to go in regards to it is there's really not that many companies out on the market that are organic and natural. So that's where I want to differentiate myself and my brand.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to see exactly what type of avenues that you went in regards to, like, research and development on your guys' own products, and did you have testers in regards to it, or was it just yourself?
It was Wayne.
Yeah, it was pretty much Pete and myself. We did all the research on it. Found basically suppliers and growers and everything that went into it to make sure it fit in with like our business model. So I think the biggest thing for you is like you said, you wanted to go the natural route, and there's not many people doing it in that game, which is already an advantage for you. So if you can market that and find that right groove and that right niche, you can make it happen. But it's basically, you got to do the research. You got to be the one, to go find all the right stuff. Are you making the product yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's already, an advantage for you is if you're making the product yourself, you've already cut that out, so you don't have to pay somebody else to do that, which is great.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
And then the other part would be, develop, the brand, become the brand. The brand is yours, so you're now the ambassador for your brand. So everything you do is, you're in it, you're living it. Whether you're going to farmers markets or, I'm not sure if, what. Yeah. Exactly. I'm just trying to think of like people with beards are going to be
hipster conventions.
It's pretty much everywhere now. Yeah,
conventions.
You can go to
anywhere.
You can go to concerts, music venues, anything. And just show up and be like, hey, check out this product.
Okay.
And just have natural, organic conversations with people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing about our coffee product was we had an idea and we wanted to make it work, but then what we did is we produced a product that sells itself once people, try it.
If your product is good, the only thing you have to worry about is marketing it and getting it into people's hands. I would definitely consider when you're out there, once you've got it made, consider giving it to a lot of people for free. That's the best thing you can do with something that is a touch item. It's not conceptual. Get it out there in front of people. And it's also, I would make sure that you get incredibly active on every form of social media possible. Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, and start talking to people on those platforms as well. So that when you go in to ask them, like, hey, I just, by the way, I make beard stuff. Can I send you some? And if you like it, could you do a post for me? Then they're like, yeah, sure. Because they're helping out a member of their community. They're not just getting harassed by another ass bag with a product.
Right. Go all in on the social media interaction. That's like a huge thing. What I'll do from the King's Coast page is I'll just go in. I'll look for like top hashtags or like coffee and fair trade organic, and then just get involved. Just comment on threads and don't push your product on people. Just be part of the general community and conversation. And obviously if you see if you follow people and they've got like a crazy looking beard or whatever, and you want to send them a message like, hey man, I'm making a natural product, I would love to send you a sample and let me know what you think. And then who knows, that's really all it takes sometimes, getting your product in the right person.
Totally. And then one of the other questions I did have, I don't want to take too much time.
That's fine. This is good. I like it.
And then one of the other questions I did have is, what type of platforms did you guys originally start off of besides the word of mouth? Do you have any suggestions in regards to like a platform that you used in regards to like
for when we launched King's Coast?
Yeah, for when you like officially launched. Like I know Amazon now has a different one for small businesses now as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we use Shopify, which has been a really great asset for us. Is it's basically your online storefront. And then it also ties in with this program called ShipStation. So everything that we do is run through the app. So orders come in, it basically, it pulls the stamps and you could print shipping labels, and everything is done through the same app. That's what I recommend using to get started with, because that's what I have experience with, and it's amazing. You can actually set up an online store. There's also templates for your websites as well that you can tie in, where it ties all your social media interaction into your actual
Shopify is fantastic.
Shopify has been great, and it tracks so much stuff, analytics and Twitter, and it shows you how many visits you've had to your site, what's your conversion rates, and all this stuff. It's a really cool program that I've been falling in love using it, and every day I feel like I find something new in there.
Okay,
so definitely check out Shopify
as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do small shops on Etsy and stuff like that. Selling products on there. I think Shopify is great for any pretty much small to even larger scale business.
Yeah, they scale up pretty well. So I would highly recommend checking them out.
Yep, and you could also set up subscription-based services with them,
which is huge
right now. So
Yeah, and that's a big thing that I've noticed as well, is in regards to like my own personal research, is a lot of companies, they have like subscription boxes or like different types of variances, and like the small amount to like the biggest package available.
Right.
And so that was something that I was working together as well in regards to trying to get this launched for next year. That's my official date, is to try to get this launched, some type of product launched by March of next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would just caution you slightly against arbitrary deadlines. And I would also tell you that, I would hope that it's already like this, but bust your ass and get it out there as soon as possible. Because like every second that you spend wasting time planning you don't need to go off half cocked, but like, with the way shit is right now with the internet, it is incredibly easy to get there and launch something. So, and if you want this to be successful and take over and be the thing that you do for your life,
You have to have it up
you should want it up yesterday, so just try and
there's going to be stuff that you'll
get it done.
You'll figure it out as you go. You know, there's stuff there you might have to learn a better way to ship your product, or I need a better vessel to sell my product, and all that stuff. Like if you spend your time wasting now before you even launch it, you know, I'm not saying like launch something half-assed, but with the internet, you're allowed to kind of gauge and be proactive about how you're doing things. So because I have friends and family that have beards, and they kind of have volunteered to test my test my product and give me feedback on like if the scent's too powerful or if it's not powerful enough, and things like that. So
I definitely get the desire to make it perfect. And
that in that regards, because I don't want to have a horrible product and then be like, and then I'm giving to people for free, and they're like, don't give a free product.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
You definitely said the right thing there. I've used beard products, and there's some that are like they're like just right, and then there's some that are just completely overwhelming. And I feel like finding that right line of like where you could get a smell from the scent or whatever, but it's not overpowering. It's like or like when stuff melts into your mouth.
I would go so far as to tell you to do this, because I know you're still like R&D'ing some stuff, but I mean, I would make sure that your store, whether it's on Shopify or it's on Etsy or wherever, is set up, ready to go to launch at full scale. Okay. So that the second you're like, I am content with my product, it is on sale within an hour.
Okay.
Because I know that your R&D stuff can take time, and you need to make it, send it to someone, try it, get feedback, retool it. Like I understand that process is ongoing. I hadn't considered that when you were talking. I get that, but there is, like the practical shit of setting up your store, picking a name,
get all your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Your branding. Make sure everything's cohesive. Everything's the same. Twitter, Instagram is as close as possible. Obviously there's some stuff that like with our Instagram and our Twitter, certain handles were taken already. Whatever. Just try to get it as streamlined as possible and get all that stuff set up right now while you're doing the R&D. And then once your product is ready, you're ready to unleash it.
Yeah, and I created social media stuff already, just an actual website. I didn't know exactly what platform was going to be the best, and that's why I was talking to you guys to see, since you've had experience with that in regards to being entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I would give Shopify a good look, because you can set up websites in there. Pretty much does everything for you. It's actually a really cool site.
Perfect. And that was pretty much the last question I had. Oh, actually, I do have one more. Where did you guys get your actual logo made and merch? What's a good avenue to do for that? Because I'm not a good artist myself. Made it.
Yeah, luckily we have a guy in-house who's really good at that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so Pete, one of our other partners, he basically has come up with all the branding and stuff like that. I don't know if he might be for hire, if I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Pete's for hire, Twaza's for hire. You can go to any Instagram feed, any Twitter feed, any Twitch creative stream, and you can just find someone. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, find someone who's up and coming and who's willing to work with you to launch your brand. If you've got some money to spend, find a veteran artist that you can trust, and take some of the gambling out of the equation is my recommendation.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. I appreciate you guys' time and answering my questions.
Yeah,
awesome,
dude.
Man. Good luck.
Anytime. You have a good one.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. Woo woo. Yeah, I feel like we we got to circumvent a lot of stuff that people usually have to do.
Right.
Because we had a lot of in-house talent and a lot of in-house marketing.
Yeah.
But there's so much that you can do when you're getting started that I think that it's awesome to focus on making something that's quality, especially if you're making it by hand. But the amount of time that I see people fucking piddling around when they're trying to sell something creative because they're trying to create more, and then
trying to get it
and I see this shit all the time. they have it, and then like they'll come on my stream or they'll hit me up on Twitter. Broman, I have this awesome thing. I want to sell it. How do I sell it? And I'm like, how the fuck, after a year of doing this, are you not ready to go to sell, like to take this shit to market? Like, it needs to be part of your process yesterday. You know, and I get it. Like, you can, it's just becoming so disgustingly easy to sell your shit. Whether it's Etsy, like you don't have to set up a store if you don't want to. You know, you can just do direct to consumer, set up a custom order on Etsy where someone tweets you and they're, I want this. Okay, cool. Custom order. Boom. Like, it's so easy to get yourself out there. But if you're not taking the 10 hours it takes to educate yourself and to be ready to launch when you finally have the thing that you want, I don't know what you're doing with your time. And just please don't do yourself that disservice. Make sure you're ready.
I agree.
Like, how much time did we spend making sure that once we were ready, like when was our store ready for launch? Like, how much, I forget.
I feel like it was ready. Like, we had that up and before we even had an official launch date.
Yeah.
I know that for sure. Like, I would say about a month in advance of, you know, we had the website, the Twitter, everything was done. We didn't announce anything till like the week we decided, all right, this is launch week.
Yeah, exactly. But we had our store, our logo, our branding, our subscription service built out, our price point chosen, all of that stuff for such a long time before we were ready to launch the store. You know, this is the thing that you can do while you're waiting for your feedback, so that you can hit the ground running and that you're not left flat-footed and knocked over.
Yeah, so as soon as you have a thumbs up, like, all right, this is it, we're going, and it's already, everything's ducks in a row, or everything's already done, ready to go.
Yeah,
mise en place.
Yeah, everything in place, man. Everything
in place.
In its place. Who knew that would be so practical today? All right, we got one more person, so let's take time to get one more. This is Sir Stash, who I don't believe I've had on before, but I feel like I have. So he'll have to be honest with me and let me know.
Well, hello there.
Hey, Sir Stash, what's up?
I won't lie, I was super surprised I even got picked.
You know what? We have, now that I hear your voice, I know 100% we've not spoken on Ask Broman before. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Just kind of sitting here figuring out what exactly I'm gonna ask.
Oh shit! Well, now you're fucked, bud.
Boy.
It's fucking hot seat.
It's fucking pressure's on me.
Wrecked, bud.
Okay, so this is more of a question for the two of you.
Sure, I love it.
I messaged you about this general subject during Guardian Con.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a big, like, I want to know how to rebuild, like, my life, basically. So a little quick backstory.
Okay, yeah. That was a big question. Let us know where you're at.
Just advice. Like, I know, whatever. So quick backstory. In June, I got out of the military. In May, I broke up with my 3-year fiance, and I moved back home.
Okay.
I moved back home.
So you
an
hit
alcoholic
that. You hit that
drug addict.
Oh. Is that you or?
That is me.
Okay.
That I moved back home to that.
Oh, you moved back in with someone who's an alcoholic drug addict, or?
No. I moved back as an alcoholic drug addict.
Okay. All right. Cool. I just want to make sure I understand the. Okay.
Yeah. So
appreciate the honesty.
I mean, it's easiest for me, honestly. When I moved back home, I had already been streaming for like a year and a half, I think. And I moved back home, I really managed to pick it up a lot more. And I actually managed to get some solid growth out of the 2 months I was still streaming.
Yeah.
And then when I was home, I realized why I moved out of my hometown.
Okay.
It's a small hometown.
Gotcha.
If you don't get out, you'll never get out. And now I live in California.
Okay.
I moved across the country from Florida to California, so that's a thing.
Gotcha.
And I was just wanting, like, some kind of advice. Like, I'm just kind of just stuck, really.
Okay.
I don't know where to go, what to do.
Just
paddling, looking for a sign, really.
Understood.
Is any
what are you
advice?
doing right now? Like, how do you pay your rent?
I actually live with my cousin, and I work in her kitchen. We make like gluten-free vegan wraps with like local produce.
Gotcha. That's that shit.
Really,
are you passionate about food?
I do love food, but my real passion is like in technology. That's why I love streaming so much, because like when I was in the military, my whole job was network management. I was basically like AT&T for the Army.
Mm-hmm. And but you didn't get any certifications like CCNA or any of those networking certifications while you were in the Army?
I got a handful. I got Security Plus while I was in there, but I think that just ran out.
Okay.
I had A+. I had A++. I think I had CCNA.
And so they're just lapsed?
I believe most of them have lapsed, because I got a lot of them at the very beginning of my military career, because I needed them for the position I was in.
Good.
But I just like haven't kept up with them really, that's on me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just kind of stuck.
Sure.
Like I'm like mentally and emotionally stuck. Like I don't really know what to do. Because like I want to start streaming again, and like right now, I don't really have like the capabilities to do it with just like my living situation, which is whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I'm very scared to start streaming again.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the impact it had on my relationship.
Gotcha. Well, you're not in a relationship right now, right?
Yeah, but it's just like that embedded fear of jumping into again.
I'll stop you and I'll give you some advice. 1, streaming ruined my first marriage.
Solid.
Okay, so fuck that shit. When you're in a relationship with someone who wants to support your dreams, it's fine. I started streaming and I realized that it was my passion, and I loved nothing more about it. And the transactional nature of my relationship with my ex was exposed because of that. I had spent the past decade of my life with her, and I worked 60 to 70 hours a week to pay for us both to go through college and to pay for her to go through her entire master's degree. And then I said, I need 6 months to try and make this work because it's growing, and I promise I'll be able to replace my income within 6 months. If not, I want to keep doing this, and I'll get a job outside of this. But for now, I'm just asking that you support me to stream 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That was my ask, and it ruined my marriage because that person wasn't in it. That person wasn't in it for me. Okay. So first of all, you've let that person control your life long enough, and the fact that you're still thinking about them, you need to kill that. Okay.
Working on it.
I know you're working on it, but I'm telling you, like it's one or the other. You're either letting them control you or you are in control. And I'm telling you that you need to get in control in that mindset. That's how I got out. It wasn't like a thing for me. Like it had to be, it's one or the other. That's how I deal with relationship shit. So there's that. If you're passionate about streaming, don't let this person control that passion anymore. You need to take it back. Yep. So there's that. 2, if I was in your exact position, this is how I could, this is how I would go forward. Okay. I would go retest, get all my certs back, get a solid part-time or full-time CCNA job, because I know that those pay well, move into the cheapest apartment I could find, and take every single moment of time I had outside of my job and stream. And then I would close my eyes and wait. That's exactly what I would do if I was in your situation.
Sweet. Sounds like the advice I was hoping for.
Sorry to be, because, I mean, like,
Well, no, like, that's exactly what I wanted, because, like, I've been watching you for over 2 years now, and if I fucking ask this question, he gives me some bullshit, I swear to God.
No, I would never, I would never give you some bullshit. The fact that you just have to retest to get your certs back is just fucking massive. I know that if you're a CCNA, you can make $50,000 to $60,000 a year pretty easily. And especially for the fact that you're a vet, which, by the way, thank you for your service. The fact that you're a vet, and I would assume that you're sort of debt free, right? Because of that as well. Yeah,
totally debt free.
So you've set yourself up to be in such an amazing position. Mm-hmm. So that, the fact that you have all this, you have the big barrier to a lot of jobs is experience. You have experience running the network for the United States Army. Right?
That's pretty big.
You know.
I don't know if you heard of it.
Or,
I don't know if you heard of this
Air
company.
Force or Navy. I didn't ask specifically.
It was the Army.
So you have networking experience running a military machine, right?
Yeah.
So you have all of this stuff. I would retest and get yourself a job. Like, just do that. Now you have the support structure, okay, to chase your dream, and you're doing it all by yourself. You are in such a position to win right now, because you're debt free. You're already set up to get these jobs that provide you with a fuck ton of free time. Because also, while you're on those jobs, you're going to have free time as a CCNA or a network manager to do the other side of the job, which is networking, interacting on Twitter, Instagram, repurposing your content, redistributing your content, all this other stuff. You can work on your hustle while you're at your main job. That's what I would do, man. It really sucks that, you got back and your life fell apart. But you want to get it back on track, and you're in such a great position to get started, and all you need to do is start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If
I could just add on that.
Oh, yeah.
Go
ahead.
Wayne's got perspective too, I'm sure. Very valuable.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been in positions before where I've had to kind of stop and readjust and reconfigure everything. I've always taken leaps of faith in as far as like, all right, I have this opportunity. Should I take it? Should I not take it? You sit there and you can overthink yourself to death. You can obviously talk yourself out of it or talk yourself into it. The biggest thing for me is always just set a plan. Be like, all right, if this is what I'm going to do, this is what I have to do, and stick to it. Make a plan. Say, all right, in 6 months I'm going to be here. In a year I'm going to be here, and in 5 months 5 years my plan is to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Break it up and take it one day at a time. And obviously, they always say,
reverse engineer that shit. I like it.
Yeah, how to eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. You can't eat the whole thing at once. So just stick to your goal. Make a plan and say, all right, this is where I want to be, and I'm gonna do it. The other thing is you got to jump in feet first, 100% all the way.
Yeah.
Don't half-ass it. Don't get half in on it and say, all right, well, I'm gonna jump in the deep end, but let me just stick a leg in for just go all in. And you'll be surprised with like how quickly things can change once you've completely committed yourself to a plan. And that's the biggest thing for me is, if you have an idea of this is what I want to do and this is where I want to be, go for it, commit yourself, and then just go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were the follow-ups you had there?
One follow-up is in 2018, I'm definitely moving to Tampa at some point in 2018.
Okay.
There's a big gray area of time and money I have to figure out first.
Okay.
Right.
Tampa's a great place. I mean, there's about to be a really big tech boom if all of the predictors are correct.
That's why I want to move there.
You're a smart man. All right.
Also, meeting you at GuardianCon really helped me a lot, because I've always it's one of those things to never meet your heroes, but when you do and they're the person you wanted them to be.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't meet your heroes because a lot of people are pieces of shit. I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
And one, you were a little bit shorter than I thought you'd be.
Of course, which is great. It means everybody underestimates me. It's fantastic.
Second, the GuardianCon charity this year, especially because the big charity push happened when I was home with my parents, because I moved back in with them because I was in between areas and they gave me a room to sleep in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The GuardianCon charities, and now King's Coast Coffee, who I just shipped and ordered it back to my mom because she loves coffee. Because for years my parents knew I streamed, and they didn't really have an opinion on it. They were just well, okay, you have another job, so I guess this hobby is okay.
Yeah.
And then when I didn't have a job, and then being able to show them the GuardianCon charity stream, this is what we did.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. This is $1 million+ towards charity. Suck a dick. Is
exactly. No, that's
kind of what I had to do. And then when I 3 days ago, I sent the link to King's Coast to my mom. I'm like, what do you order one? I'll give it to you for Christmas. Because I don't know, I don't know kind of coffee. She drinks Folgers.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, you can do better than this, Mom.
You can, Mom. You can do better.
Everyone can.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this? I was like, this is King's Coast coffee. Like, this is made from the guys who did the charity stream. And she's like, oh my God. Because like, that's not a thing that happens. That's not like, logically speaking, that should never happen.
Right.
Oh yeah.
A couple of dudes on the internet playing video games should not be able to A, raise over $1 million for charity, and B, make their own fucking coffee company and have it explode.
Yeah, unless you're fucking good at it.
I mean, there's that.
I completely agree. Like it is absurd, but I mean not to get too overly romantic about it, but everything about
Whoa.
Twitch.
Yeah, sorry, I
right?
live on the Daytona freeway.
Or anybody who's involved in a creative field, you are literally willing something out of nothing to happen. Like when you start streaming every day, you hit a button to start streaming, and now content exists online that did not exist previously, right? And it is the same way for literally every fucking job in the world. If you make sandwiches, that sandwich does not exist previously. You made a sandwich, now it exists. Like if you want to start a business, that business did not exist previously. You build the structure, you create it, now it exists. And that is like your will, your desire is what guides that. And so, I mean, for me, Guardian Con and King's Coast and whatever we do in the future is just like for me, it's an expression of my passion and will and desire to make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. So it's I completely agree is that it's bullshit and it shouldn't fucking exist. But it does because you made it so.
Yeah. It does, and we're gonna run with it until it stops.
Right.
That's
exactly.
pretty much, yeah.
It's the big thing of just saying, all right, I'm going to make this happen and committing to it, and basically, having that never give up, never give in kind of philosophy of saying I'm going to make this happen because I want to. This is something. It started off as a hobby. Myself, I started roasting coffee at home in a little like toaster oven coffee roaster. And I was like, oh.
And that's where all your coffee comes from right now.
That one single toaster.
Toaster oven, yeah.
But like literally, it was just something like, I was like, I wonder if I could roast coffee at home. So I did some research. I reached out to a friend of mine who is a coffee roaster. And he's like, yeah, he goes, it's really not that hard. He's like, you just got to, get good product and roast it and serve fresh product. That's the difference, between good coffee and bad coffee. It's getting freshly roasted stuff. So that's where it spawned from. And then luckily for me, Kevin's one of my best friends. I've known him for we're getting close on 20 years or so.
Damn.
Oh God.
It's been a while.
Damn.
At least 15 or whatever. He's the kind of mind who just when he sees an opportunity, he's like, all right, let's make this happen. Pete and I, we've known each other for years, and we at one point we were trying to start a record label or t-shirt company. We've always had these ideas of like trying something new. So when everybody that I know, when I was like, oh yeah, Pete and I, we started a coffee company, they're like, oh yeah, here we go. Here's the new
Here we
thing.
go. Yeah, I love that shit. Again. That's my favorite. That's like a shot of fucking adrenaline right into my heart.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, here we go again. It turned out to be, this was finally like it clicked, and it was because, I feel like of all our past failures, we had experience with failing, and you can't be afraid to fail. So, keep that in mind as well. Just take a risk, and if you're gonna do it, go all in. And if it doesn't work out, fuck it.
If it doesn't work out, it's your loss, and that's fine because you're the one that lost, so you're the one that gets a chance to win again.
But you tried, and that's always the biggest thing. Is like as long as you stuck your neck out there, and that's it.
That's kind of like that whole like not being afraid to fail thing is what's kept me sane for the past couple of years.
Yeah,
that and the mantra of just like, fuck it.
Yeah,
like
what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
like the worst thing that can happen is I'm out $20 and I would have wasted 2 hours of my life. All right, well, fuck it. I'll go do whatever this thing is.
Now, be responsible with that decision, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about chasing your we're talking about chasing your dreams, not you know.
Listen, man, $20 is $20, all right?
$20 is $20. Yeah, gaining experience is always a net positive. You'll always end up knowing something that you needed to know, or learning something that you can apply later on. But yeah, so sorry that I don't know if there was a question in there or we were just talking, but
no, I kind of presented an area for you two to converse on what your input on that one topic was.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah, man. And it, I know you mentioned the whole, addiction thing. That's something that, it hits home to a lot of people. And if it's something you're fighting with, and there's people out there who can help you with that. And, there's meetings, there's support groups, and there's people who just generally care about other people. Wouldn't mind talking, the whole talking you off a ledge type of thing. If you need somebody to talk to, my DMs are open. I'm sure, Ben wouldn't mind talking to you every now and then if you needed to.
My DMs are always open on Instagram.
Yeah. So, there's a huge community of people out there who are all kind of going through the same struggles and dealing with, life kicking them around, or people telling them, no, you can't do this. But here we are, we're proving that you can do it, as long as, you're addicted to it.
You can get addicted to something else. That's absolutely right. I've said time and again, I know that I would be a gambling addict if I didn't fall in love with video games, because
let's just take that advice and push it somewhere else.
Yeah. Take that and use that as a strength. That personality of just you can do it, man. You can get through anything, and
for sure, man.
It was weird. Like, it was weird how I stopped it. Because I kind of had to stop it when I left the military in June and went home, because I'm like, I can't bring this back home to my little brother. Like, I'm not gonna do that to him.
Military's tough too, man. I know I have family members who they came back and they're not the same. It's it's weird what it does to you, because it really does build up a bonding, and you really have a great friend group, and they're basically family to me now. But at the same time, we only became that way because of the bullshit we had to go through together.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the drawback is yes, you will make friends for life. At the same time, you'll make friends for life because you will be in situations where you would rather be dead. But because you can't, you make friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But the last month, beginning of May is when my fiance and I broke up. Yeah. And the entirety of May, I let myself hit rock bottom. I did it on purpose. I made a conscious decision to just take away all the barriers and because I'm I have a month. I have a month, and then I go home. I have a month to get it out of my system, to stop having to eat away at me the back of my head. I have the month to just let it go. And I did. And I found my rock bottom. I found as low as I can go, and I'm speaking to you today, so it obviously wasn't that bad. And
it takes a lot of confidence to make that jump, but it's also incredibly freeing to know how bad it can get.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, well, that's it. This is it. All right, I fucking got this. That's an incredibly self-aware move, my friend.
Yeah, I've always been weirdly self-aware, but at the same time with my own mental issues and depression and all that, I was ignoring it for 2 years straight.
Sure.
Which, didn't help in any aspect of my life. And when I finally acknowledged it, this is when that month happened, and I went home. And then after 2 months of being home, I moved up to Northern California with my cousin, and I've been here since August. And I haven't been able to play video games really, except for Borderlands 2, which is on my laptop. And then I haven't been able to delve into the life and the culture that I've been in since I was a child, which is just video games. But it's really opened my eyes. I live a couple miles away from where they filmed part of Jurassic Park and Star Wars. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I make vegan gluten-free wraps and I know half of the farmers that grow it.
Yeah.
And I'm in a farmer's market now selling handmade gluten-free tortillas. These are things I would have never done had I re-enlisted for 2 more years and done whatever that would have done.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful I had this opportunity, because like being in the farmers market now gives me experience of like having to run a small storefront, and being a business partner with my cousin is like, now I have the responsibility of like helping our product reach as many people as it possibly can. And it's just like, I'm so glad I took these experience, these random, I'd never been to the West Coast. So I was like, fuck it, I'll move to the West Coast with almost no money and see what happens. And I mean, like, it's going good so far.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let it on.
So, yeah, Sir Stash is basically the embodiment of a lot of shit that I talk about on stream all the time. And it's incredible to hear from someone who isn't me that all the shit that we're talking about actually fucking works.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. So, Sir Stash, do you have any last statements? You want to tell everyone where they can find you? And then we'll wrap it up for the day.
Last main statement of just like a mantra, like a thought process that kept me alive for a while is like, no one can make you do anything. You don't have to do anything. You can sit in a room for your entire life. It won't last that long, but you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now that you've realized that no one can make you do anything you do because you want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to get out of that room and go to work. So because you want to eat sandwiches at the end of the day, and you want to have electricity, and you want to have AC. It's not you have to do. You don't have to do shit if you don't want to. And that mental state has helped me through a lot of stuff. It's like, I don't have to do anything if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to. So I will.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is great.
Go get it.
Yeah. So that's the end of me rambling about emotional shit.
No, that was really good. Thank you for sharing, and I hope that you get out there and you make some sort of blueprint, reorient yourself, and just start going, man. It's right there for you.
I will definitely do my best on that. But anyways, on Twitch you can find me twitch.tv/SirStash. And on Twitter, you can find me at the Sir Stash, because some asshole took normal Sir Stash.
That's fine.
Or I could.
It's fine. It'll be all right.
If you want to find me on PSN, I'm Tri-Steak Burrito.
Sweet.
Because Sir Stash was taken on that as well, and I had a triple steak burrito from Taco Bell in my hand, and I was like, well, there's my idea.
Solid story.
I'm gonna start trying to stream again in the summertime. Trying to. I'll see how that goes, because I have to move in like February anyways, so I can work that into my life plan. But if not, then I'll start streaming whenever I hit Tampa somewhere in 2018.
Sounds good, man.
There's your plan.
All right.
Yeah.
You have a good day, my guy.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on my name and dragging me in here.
Anytime, dude.
Fun.
It was a good time.
All right.
For sure. Peace.
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up.
Yep.
For our first long form episode of Ask Broman with a guest.
Yeah.
So different. Everyone's like, fuck, I thought it would never end. It's usually an hour. God. But thank you for any of us who listened the whole time. I really appreciate it. I feel like this was a incredible, I don't know. I had a great time talking with everybody. I like the format like this with a guest, but if you have any feedback, feel free to tweet me or message me on Instagram. It's Professor Broman. Please, please, please. And if you're listening and you made it all the way here, I hope that we have given you enough valuable information that you feel like maybe subscribing to the podcast and sharing with your friends is a good idea. So fucking do that. But before we go, I will let Wayne say his piece and let you know where you can find Wayne and let him say any last thoughts that he might have, and then we will sign off.
Yeah. No, just to recap, kind of, I feel like the conversation today was just about, just if you have an opportunity, go for it, chase your dreams, don't be afraid to fail, and make it happen. I'm on Twitter, Chef Wayneface, Instagram, Chef Wayneface, and King's Coast Coffee, man. That's my new passion, my hobby, and we're looking forward to making it, 2018 be an awesome year for that. So thank you to everybody who's supported and continuing to support. So stay tuned. A lot of cool stuff coming out.
Lots of new stuff coming in.
Lots of new stuff.
Lots of new stuff. It's going to be a good time. Well, thank you, Wayne, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone who's watching. out there anywhere you're watching and listening, anywhere that you're listening, I greatly appreciate that you would give any of your time to spend it with us, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you all, and we will talk to you next time. Peace.
Later.